I've been asked to present on Tsunami Ready, which is sort of a really creative, interesting sort of way of gaining awareness and interest in this hazard of tsunamis, and sort of looking at like roadmaps and ways to be basically like showing sort of the process towards getting, making advancements on readiness. And I think it really aligns well with the success of Shakeout and how we've sort of got that recognition of folks that do the drop, cover, hold on, and then continue on to do other things to sort of get ready for earthquakes. And of course, the interesting thing about tsunamis is that in the sort of Pacific Basin, we have, sort of 2 or 3 sort of tsunami events a year that sort of ring on people's phones, or they sort of make people aware. And that's often the time when people are sort of the window of opportunity to be more thinking about, what do I do, when do I feel the shaking, and when there's a tsunami event that might, be of higher risk or of potential danger to the communities that they're in. And so tsunamis, I find, are, again, really advantageous to be aware of, and then also to be highlighting the folks that are doing work continuously in this area. And so this year actually, I should say, a few years ago, we did have tsunami as a theme for our Shakeout. So putting materials on the website and basically being able to answer those questions about what happens after the earthquake when a tsunami, and you might be living in a tsunami risk area. There has been a ton of work across BC coast related to things like tsunami modeling. So I wanted to highlight the Strathcona Regional District, Mount Waddington Regional District, Capital Regional District, all have done really advanced tsunami modeling, looking at where are the sources of potential tsunamis, what kinds of impacts might sort of the worst case scenario have in their communities, and how to plan, related to that sort of scientific knowledge. And also looking at historical, looking at inundation extents from previous tsunamis, like in 1700 and whatnot. So bringing that science together is a really important aspect of the Tsunami Ready kind of process. So understanding that risk, and then basically figuring out and planning on things like where to evacuate, how to evacuate, having those maps available, and also having the warning and coordination related to, an earthquake has happened or a tsunami has happened, tsunami is on its way. How do the communities make progress on that and get people out of harm's way? And so there's basically, I'm going to look at there's like 16 kind of like guideline steps in the Tsunami Ready kind of process. And once a community has sort of established those steps, then they get a designation that says, they are Tsunami Ready. And that's been, again, a big success, because when you have the designation, then you can sort of highlight to other communities, we've done this work, we have this kind of stamp of success. We can celebrate our own champions within the community that have helped us to get to where we are. And then it also then showcases to other communities that might be not quite as far evolved in their readiness, how to get there, right? There's like sort of the community linkages, which again are very, very successful in sort of bringing everybody up. And then the other piece of this is that there's this year for the UN, or excuse me, this decade for the UN is the Ocean Science and Sustainability Decade. So there is sort of initiatives and funding related to ocean science, and tsunami readiness is kind of one of those themes. And so there's, again, that opportunity, like with Shakeout, where there's this global kind of community that's all doing this, these components of drop, cover, hold on, or earthquake safety, but again, related more to tsunami safety and ocean safety in general. And so I think it's a really interesting time to be, within the BC Earthquake Alliance, thinking about where do we want to be when we grow up, and how do we continue with the momentum of what our group has achieved to date. And I think that, in my opinion, and within conversations I've had with a number of coastal communities that are doing this work, a lot of that recognition and sort of sharing of what have they done, and then where can they continue to go related to tsunami readiness is something of interest to them. So I think we could have a lot of buy-in, a lot of collaboration. And I should also mention the provincial hikes to high ground. So again, many communities are already doing sort of the exercise component of getting up and getting to high ground and having those discussions. And so Tsunami Ready, again, fits in well with basically just promoting those folks that are doing the work, showcasing where they've come from and where they can still go in terms of getting further progress. And yeah, many of these coastal communities are doing the work, and it'd be great to highlight it in a formal kind of a way. And this is what's been working internationally and in the States as a program. So something of interest, and something that yeah, we're looking forward to seeing if there's an appetite for our group to continue on with and to support, or just to be aware of and involved with as we go forward. So thanks, I'll leave it at that.